Good afternoon, Jeff.
Good afternoon, Ben. How are you
Yeah,
today?
I'm doing well. The intro is just not the same without you bopping to the song next to me. It's just not the same.
I was bopping over here. I actually had a thought. We're giving our folks a little different look today.
That's
My big head is normally bigger anyway, but now it's like really big,
I've got to move forward to like even it out.
really big, coming at all of our watchers. And if you're
That's
listening to
right.
this, you're missing out on all of the fun videographical things going on. Anyway, welcome to the show, Lancaster Connects, show about big versus small, battle on Main Street, David
Highlighting
versus Goliath.
highlighting local nonprofits and
That's
charitable
right.
organizations
That's
and
right.
small businesses making an
Yep.
impact in the community. And today's a kind of a neat show. We've got not only one great guest, we've got two great guests,
We do.
and we've got a
So we'll
story
have
to tell.
we'll have a buffet of heads
That's
on this
we will.
episode.
In the pre-show, we had five different screens go or five different cameras going. The Chris, the producer, and then the four of us. So it was a whole thing.
I had a thought there as I was doing the intro. The thought was still in my head percolating, so everything kind of had to reset in case you didn't catch what was going on. Or it might have been the painkillers talking, because I am week 6 of total knee replacement rehab here, and I've hit a plateau, I would say, in the recovery.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I had a thought, like that little jingle in the Lancaster Connects intro. How cool would it be if we put a little contest out for somebody to come up with appropriate lyrics?
Appropriate. I like you preface lyrics with appropriate. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we wouldn't want like a blend of like Rump Shaker. That wouldn't be good. We wouldn't want
Yeah,
that. That's a 90.
yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
actually,
yeah.
Rump Shaker would be PG as by today's some lyrics today.
The funny
But,
thing is, I've been going to Universal in the mornings and working out, and like they always play the same sort of like
that's
newer,
Universal Athletic Club.
Universal Athletic Club, great local partner of ours, and they always play the same sort of music, and I don't even know how to describe it, but more like hip hop, sort of like upbeat dance,
Does it get you
techno.
going?
Well, not really. I mean, it's upbeat and whatever. But like the funny thing is, I noticed like almost every song is a mashup of other songs. Like I know sampling's a thing and all that, but like I hear all these lyrics just kind of like you were, you said Rump Shaker. Like that would be a lyric that would be in one of these songs, but it's mashed up with like 5 other songs worth of lyrics. It's just it's like really funny. So like I pay attention to the music just to see like what I can find.
Our poor guests in the background are wondering how many times we can get Rump Shaker out on the show. That's 3 if you're counting. This is what I do when I'm left to my own devices, completely on my own. See, if Ben and I were beside each other, he'd be like kicking me, and then we'd be moving on. But you can't do that. Ha ha ha.
Rump Shaker brings the guests in. It helps the algorithm.
Yes, there's a good algorithm hack.
Yep.
Which, by the way, on that note, so I was able to blue check verify myself on Instagram.
Blue check.
So it's rolling out, and listen, this is not just as a little FYI, little techno moment, which like we've never ever scripted out on the show, but here we go. This is when Jeff's left to his own devices with the pains of rehab flowing through his veins, mixed with the tramadol and the Proxen pill mix. So I verified myself on Instagram. So it was it's open on Instagram and it's open on Facebook. There's really no rhyme or reason to it as to why you get it or why you don't get it. I've seen people that get it who have next to no effort put forth on those platforms. And I've seen people be awarded it because of their work on those platforms way before it was available. But it's a nice little thing. For me, it's not at all about, oh, I'm a blue check person. It's about security, and it's about verifying the account, which I think is something that they should have always had. Because, there's a lot of fake scammy bot. Like I've noticed I got to go in on our Gardeners page and on our Lancaster Connects page. They're now hitting our reviews, and scamming in the reviews.
I saw a couple come through recently.
Rings. So yeah, this is why these things are important.
Yep.
It's that we have to pay for it, but for the time being, until we get it right and done better, I will happily take it to secure my accounts for some of the things that I do. It makes sense. So you
Nice.
so the way you get it and check if you can get it is you go to anybody's profile that has it, and you click the little got it right there on the screen, and
Oh, yeah.
yeah. By the way, Chris, I'm going to give my wife a little shout out here. Scroll up on that food photo. It's like the only time I've ever done food and Instagram. And it might not be, it wasn't plated appropriately, but that chicken, tomato, mozzarella dish with asparagus that my wife made. Oh my God, was it amazing?
I like the
Just
asparagus,
incredible.
man. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
It's
she's
on
been
it.
killing it. She's been
Nice.
killing it as of late, keeping me afloat with all the knee rehab. She's got her own little twinges going on in her arm and her shoulder, so she's working
Yep.
through that. She's keeping our boys on track, and it's a little shout out to the misses on this
Yeah.
side of the equation.
Mama needs a shout out. That's great.
Yes. So anyhow, well, we've gone on for 7 minutes.
Yep.
We've talked blue checks, great food, and rump shaker. Let's bring in our guests.
Yeah.
I had to do that one last time.
All right. So our first guest is from an organization that many people are familiar with, especially if you either are a business owner or might be an aspiring business owner. SCORE. I'll let Margot Hoerner, who is our guest, tell us what SCORE stands for. But SCORE is a national organization, and they have a chapter right here in the Lancaster-Lebanon area. So Margot, there she is. Hello, Margot.
Well, great. I don't know whether to start off with rump shakers or something like that,
Yes,
or
I love
add
it.
to your tally. But thank
That's, I
you
think,
for
6.
thank you for inviting me to join you today and talk about SCORE. It's one of my most favorite things in Lancaster. That I became a part of SCORE when I retired from corporate life about 5 years ago. SCORE is one of 250 national chapters. We happen to be one of the hot chapters here in Lancaster. We have won chapter of the year 2 times in the last 8 years, which is a huge deal for our volunteers. And we are a volunteer organization. We have 80 volunteers right now, and we grow more every month. Our primary purpose is to help our clients succeed. That's our number one goal. We are all volunteers, and we feel great when we're able to impart our knowledge with our clients. And our clients are made up of small business owners, people with an idea that they want to turn into a business. They might be a nonprofit. They might be an organization that just needs some additional mentoring. And basically what happens is when a client requests a SCORE mentor, they are assigned a volunteer mentor who does one-on-one coaching, mentoring, support for them. And we mentor in all areas of business and organizational development. It can be financial, it can be manufacturing, it can be human resources, it can be sales or marketing. Really runs the gamut to all the areas of a small business. And what's really intriguing to me when I talk about SCORE with people is they are shocked at how many small businesses we actually have. And you talk about the David and Goliath model. Lancaster and Lebanon recently are a hotbed of new businesses. In fact, we have on average 60 to 70 new clients a month. That means in a given year, we will have over 900 clients. These are brand new clients in addition to the over 3,500 that we're currently mentoring. So this is a wonderful community to have a SCORE chapter. And we provide the mentoring. We also provide webinars and business roundtables for different types of businesses. But the mentoring is really the key because we have very experienced mentors who have been executives or own their own businesses, and they're available to our small business clients and our small organizations, nonprofits, to help in any way possible. Our goal is primarily for them to succeed. There is no cost at all to any of our
Crazy.
clients. And some people come for 1 or 2 sessions because they just have a question or two. And then we have clients who have been with us for 5, 10, 15 years.
So
What does I'm sorry. What does SCORE stand for? I know that's an acronym.
So the SCORE chapter in Lancaster started in 1965. So we're about 50 years old. The national chapter is a lot older than that. Folklore would say, but I don't know this for sure, that the original acronym had something to do with the society core of retired executives. So it started as an organization for retired executives to be able to give back to their community. And it's evolved to not only people who had business careers or people who had their own small business or people who ran their own nonprofit. We run the gamut in all of our volunteers. We have some who are retired. In fact, many are retired, but we also have many volunteers who are still working full time, but view this as a way for them to give back to the community.
Gotcha.
love it. Ben and I, Gardner's Mattress and More, as it exists today, came through the SCORE program. We were sitting in a SCORE classroom. I guess that would have been what, Ben? December
It was
in
January,
January,
November, December of 2010.
2010. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
We took there was a class for small businesses.
Right.
It was like a five class program, and most of the most of our classmates were people with business ideas, and the class was kind of elementary in like, how do you take your idea and put it in front of a bank and get funding and all that. Of course, our business idea was 20 years old. It was already in business. We needed a funding plan, and some of the information we learned was kind of like, we're past that stage, but we got hooked up with the class was helpful, but we got hooked up with a volunteer, a mentor that really helped us out. And his name was Peter. I can't remember his last name though. Jeff, do you remember? Rayburn. Peter Rayburn? I think that was his name. Yeah.
I don't know if he's volunteering with us anymore, but your story is exactly very typical. We have a course called Simple Steps. It's 5 classes, and that's really for someone who's just in the process of getting started. However, we have people who, in fact, Andrew, who you're going to hear from shortly, he started with his mentor about 2 years before he even started his business. We have some who contact us when they've opened their business and they're getting into a crisis. They're not making as much money as they thought they would in the first month or two, and they're panicked that they need some type of business plan or long-term strategic plan. And then we have some at the tail end who are saying, I have an offer to buy my business, but I don't know if I should accept it or not, or I don't even know if I should sell my business. So we really go A to Z in whatever mentoring our clients need, and we will walk that journey and meet whatever needs you have. One of the neat things about SCORE is we all work as a team. So, for example, my background is in sales, marketing, and HR. If you put me into manufacturing or financial in-depth needs, that probably would not be as helpful to a client if I did not use our co-mentoring opportunities. So I'll call a co-mentor who I know is a former bank executive and say, hey, can you help me with the budgeting and finances for my client? And we work together. So as you're seeing on the screen, there are all types of mentors who have very different business stories, and we all work together with that primary goal of helping our clients succeed. And many of us have had consulting businesses on the side, but this is our way to give back. As I said up front, it is totally free. There is no cost to the clients to call us, and we'll help in any way we can.
So you've covered a lot thus far, but who are the types of people that come in to utilize what you offer? Just as like off the top of your head, just some examples.
Yeah, so I can give you some examples of some of my personal clients.
Sure.
I have a beekeeper who's an Amishman. I have a woman who is a book coach, and she wants to coach people who want to write books. I have a husband and wife who run their own pool service. I am working with the Manheim Township Educational Foundation on their strategic plan, and I'm also doing that with the Hempfield Educational Foundation. Some of our previous clients have been, of course, gardeners, Zootropolis, a restaurant downtown, Fox Duck, the T-shirt place right off Central Market. So we work with food trucks, we work with coffee shops, we work with bookstores, we work with someone who has a cooking business. We work with a lot of folks who want to open a farm. We have many mentors who have experience with farming, and we've been contacted by several people who want to start their own farming operation. So there's really probably not a business that we couldn't help you with.
Yeah. So really what you just shared there, I mean, thinking of the lady who helps people write their own book, I would imagine she doesn't have like a traditional brick and mortar office people walk into.
Right.
So it's even that home-based, entrepreneur that can utilize services. If you've got a business idea, SCORE can help you walk through it. Is what I'm gathering.
Exactly. And Jeff, what's really rewarding from the SCORE Mentors side is to see one of our businesses is Taylor Chip Cookies. They started in the husband and wife's garage. Yeah, cookies, big cookies.
They're amazing.
They're amazing. And they started in, I think, their own kitchen. And now they have a huge operation. I believe they have more than one or two locations. They ship during the pandemic. They had to pivot, and they started shipping cookies all over the country. We have another client who started making opened a candle making business in their garage. And now they have a several 1,000 square foot operation over in Hempfield, I believe, where they now make candles out of a whole warehouse. So it's really great to watch them develop from a small business into a very large operation and be hugely successful.
So you mentioned the class that we took. We talked a little bit about that, and the mentors. What are some other programs that people could take advantage of, and how do people find out about the classes?
So I would suggest anyone, if you've not heard about SCORE, to just go into score.com, www.score.com. That's our national website. You can take any webinar or any program on that website, and there are examples of budgets, business plans, human resource, how to do marketing. So those are some of the basics. And then locally, we offer webinars in how to put your product on Amazon, how to take advantage of digital and social media. We recently had one about 2 weeks ago on how to manage fraud in your business. We had an expert come in to talk about all types of fraud that can happen in a business. We also have round tables. We have a round table of people who own restaurants. We have a round table of people who are lawn care companies who want to share ideas on how they're growing their businesses. So we are not only do the mentoring, which I personally feel is our secret sauce. We really are committed one-on-one to walk the journey with you, but then we also offer webinars and in-person sessions to any clients who want to participate.
I saw on the screen there, office hours with Amazon. What's that about?
That stumped the band on that one. Let me look. That's probably one of our.
That looks like it might be a national program,
probably a national
webinar
program
type thing.
Yeah. Interesting. One of probably the number one area that our clients are seeking help in is the whole digital marketing, social media space. Because unless you are right out of school and in your early 20s and 30s, you probably are not as technically savvy. You're probably not. You need a lot of help in the technical arena. And so we have started adding several of these programs around familiarizing yourself with Amazon, familiarizing what is Twitter, what is Instagram, how do you advertise on Facebook, all of those types of things, because we recognize that that's really where it's at for businesses to succeed. And I'm sure you found that with gardeners as well.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, for us, it's it's interesting for us. We have a unique customer base there, where we've reached a point 30 some years into serving the community, where so much of our business comes from referral and repeat. But yes, the Facebook advertising, getting a message out across digital platforms certainly
Right.
makes a lot of sense, and we continue to use it. So that's cool that you have that for those business owners that might not be as savvy in that media as maybe they are presently, but they can be working,
Right.
working with you. So that's cool. So what are the SCORE Small Business Awards? And didn't you recently win one?
Yeah, so we actually have an annual event every April, and we use it as our opportunity to share with the community not only the work we do and the resources we provide, but we also honor 5 of our top clients from the year before. And this comes from a whole nomination and selection process. And as I said, we get around 900 clients, new clients a year on top of existing clients. And so Andrew Lally, who you'll hear from in a minute, is one of our winners for this year. We actually have 5 winners, and each winner will briefly tell their story to the audience. And the audience is made up of several of our very generous supporters, as well as SCORE mentors, as well as many who are invested in the small business community in Lancaster. It is really inspirational to hear these 5 small businesses every year tell their story and where they came from, and by partnering with SCORE, how it has contributed to their success. It's really, really motivating. And we have people come back every year who say, this is the one event I won't miss on my calendar. I love hearing these small businesses tell their stories.
And
That's awesome that you recognized. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah. And when is that awards banquet?
So the awards banquet this year will be Thursday, April 20th from 11:30 to 1:30. And you can go on the SCORE Lancaster-Lebanon website. Just put in SCORE Lancaster-Lebanon, and this will pop up, and you will be able to register. It's $50 a ticket. It will be at the Ware Center on Prince Street, and we will love to see all of you there. It's just a really
cool.
wonderful opportunity to network with key supporters in the community. Several of our award winners will be there from other years. And this year, Andrew Lally will be one of our winners for this year with his business.
That's great. We'll bring Andrew on in just a moment here. I see on the list there a past Lancaster Connects guest, Swan, Scaling Walls One at a Time. I forget their official name. One Note at a Time.
Yes,
they're a fantastic organization.
they are. They actually we're actually for those who are not familiar, they were started by a woman who's a professional violinist.
Yep.
And she has created an organization for students whose parents are incarcerated, and they're actually going to perform at the
cool.
Small Business Award luncheon. So we're excited.
Everybody is in for a treat there. I got to hang out with Diana and the Swan team at Stuart Herr's family farm. What's the name of the farm where they rent out for events?
Eagles Ridge.
That's
Eagles Ridge. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was really cool to see the kids come through and perform. That was really neat.
We're excited about them as a winner this year because many people have thought that SCORE is just for businesses and small businesses. Mm-hmm. And while we call this the Small Business Awards Luncheon, and possibly in the future we will consider renaming it, because we have so many nonprofit clients of SCORE and organizations. We have physicians, dentists. One of my clients is a dentist. And I guess that's a business, but we really run the gamut. And we're glad that Swan will also be recognized this year.
Yeah, very cool.
That's great.
Very cool. Well, Ben, did you?
Let's bring on.
We were mind melding there. It's time to bring in Andrew.
Let's bring on Andrew. Andrew, good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. This is exciting. And I would like to say right off the bat that inJoy Golf is a very pro rump shaking organization. So I think we're on the same page right off the bat.
That's
if you said anything different or against it, you'd get the hook.
Thankfully, our producer Chris is wise enough to not bring up any of that video from that song, because that would not be very Lancaster Connects friendly.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. So, Andrew, before we get into how you were helped by SCORE, and I think you've been involved with SCORE for a handful of years now, tell us a little bit about inJoy Golf, kind of your idea there, and what it is and what you do.
Like she said there, SCORE can help, the gamut of people and lots of different needs. I came to SCORE as kind of the guy with the idea and, a head full of thoughts bouncing around and didn't even know if they fit together or made sense. And we've come a long, long way from them. So inJoy Golf is Lancaster's home for indoor golf. It's casual golf. It's more social golf. It's similar to the vibe that you would get somewhere like a Topgolf, but it's indoors. We have 4 TrackMan golf simulators. We're located downtown, and it's a place where golfers from all ages, all skill levels can come and have a good time. And there truly is something for everybody here. Serious, really dialed in players can come practice on TrackMan launch monitors, which that's the best technology in sports. It's the most widely used launch monitor on the PGA Tour. So really dialed in, players that are looking for specific readings and measurements, can have access to that stuff where they probably wouldn't anywhere else. And then more casual players and even non-golfers can come in here and play some games, choose from over 190 courses that are on the simulators. You can play rounds of golf. You can do scrambles. You can do any team format. I think for a long time, golf has had sort of a stuck up, sort of not fully inclusive sort of stigma to it. And we're really excited and we're really, committed to being a part of sort of a movement to change that within the golf ecosystem. So anyone and everyone that comes in will find a welcoming, friendly atmosphere, different ways to have fun, great place to hang out with friends. But for me personally, what is inJoy Golf is such a loaded question. For me, it's a combination of personal, professional passions. It was the culmination of lots of sort of soul searching and a desire to reinvent myself professionally and how I spend my time, what I wanted my work-life balance to look like. I love bringing people together. I love sharing what brings me joy. And I love a sense of community. I love being on a team. I love getting groups of people together, and golf is a great vehicle for that. So, cool. inJoy allows me to have a lot of that stuff in my life, and I owe SCORE a heck of a lot for all of that coming true.
That's awesome. You said downtown. Where are you?
We are in the same building as the Lancaster Science Factory.
Oh, okay.
We're right across the street from Quips. We share a parking lot with the Cork Factory Hotel. Oh, yeah. So those are some pretty solid, downtown Lancaster landmarks. That's
cool. So play a round of 18 and then hit up the 19th hole at Quips, right?
Exactly.
There you go. Well, that's cool.
Well,
the
way to do that is play 9, walk across the street, get a hot dog, get a burger or whatever, and then come back over.
There's no better hot dog than the after 9 holes hot dog.
Yes.
Or maybe
dog at the turn.
Do you do food and beverage there?
We don't do food and beverage. Okay. We're BYO, so most people bring in sandwiches and coolers and pretty much whatever they want. They bring the party with them. We do have somewhat of a partnership with Frisco's Chicken, which is in our building as well. You can order Frisco's from these bar top tables that you see on the screen there at the back of our bays. They have a little QR code on all of them, so you can order some Frisco's, and they know what bay the food came from, and they'll deliver it right up to our bay.
Cool.
We've done some pop-ups and partnerships with some other local breweries. Like just this past weekend, Cartel Brewery, which is a local brewery here in Lancaster, they did a pop-up with us, and they were serving some of their fine beverages, through the weekend alongside the March Madness basketball games. So we collaborate with other local businesses, which is great. But our customers have the option to pretty much bring whatever they want with them for their time with us.
So the idea here is like you could get a foursome together, come here and hang out for the afternoon and play St. Andrews or play,
Yeah, I mean,
Pebble
there's
Beach.
everything from par 3 courses to Pebble Beach and everything in between. There's a long list of PGA Tour courses. St. Andrews is one of them. Pebble is the one that gets played the most. There is a great course library. I think we're into the 190s. The TrackMan releases 2 or 3 new courses every month, so the library is ever expanding. There's a game center as well that you can play target games that are very sort of Topgolf like. You can do close to the pins and long drives and all kinds of gamey type stuff. And then, if you go into the practice modes, it's endless ways to practice it. If you were a serious golfer, it's almost impossible to play on one of these things consistently and not learn something about your game and find a way to get better.
And Andrew, you also do fitness therapy for golfers as well, right?
Correct. So my background before my background before inJoy opened up was in physical therapy. I was a physical therapist for a little over 7 years before inJoy started. So I do have a small gym here on site as well. And now instead of spending my day in, day out in the rehab world, now I train athletes. Some are injured, most are not. But yeah, we bring people in, we evaluate, we listen to their goals, their background, their health history, their injury history. And, my background as a physical therapist, allows me to kind of tie all those things together and create individualized, kind of personalized workout plans for the athletes. So I have some people that come work out here on site with me, and it's really like a one-on-one sort of coaching kind of dynamic. And then I also have a training app that I train through. So I do a lot of remote coaching as well. People can kind of come in once, we can talk the X's and O's, and then we do most of our training through an app, which I can ramp up if you're a home exercise person. If you go to Universal or another gym, I can give you kind of the gym version of those exercises. I have a library of videos of me describing the exercises. So my remote clients get the same sort of explanation and same verbiage and everything that my in-house clients get. So we try to make it easy for everyone. I think from a fitness standpoint, the biggest barrier to most people getting on a program and sticking with a program is there's just so much out there. There's so much to do. A gym is kind of an overwhelming environment. So we try to give people a roadmap that they can follow, make it as simple as possible to follow, and then offer ongoing sort of guidance and support along the way. And it's all done through the lens of your golf game. So
that is very cool.
I've got to have a lot of really great experiences and meet a lot of really great people as a result of that network.
What a great combination of past experience with future endeavor. I mean, because it makes perfect sense to me. If you're an avid golfer and you tear something in your shoulder or tweak something in your knee, and you don't have specific focus of those modalities while you're swinging, you might just continue to aggravate it. So really smart.
Yeah, it's really been great. And it really has been sort of a perfect partnership between, personal passions, professional passions. I got certified with what's called TPI. That's the Titleist Performance Institute. They're sort of the lead credentialing body in the golf fitness world. And I took the first certification class with them back in 2016. And that really showed me how much overlap there was between, what the top PGA Tour players were doing in the gym, how they were prioritizing, how they spent their time in the gym, and the skill set that I already had. And I started training some players on the side. It was a little bit of a side hustle for me for a couple of years, and I just loved it. I loved everything about it, and I got a lot of just personal satisfaction out of helping players hit the ball further and not be sore when they were done. And that is really, the fitness side of things is what led me to score, and is really what set me down the path that ultimately ended at inJoy. It was me trying to find a way of how do I fill more and more of my time in my professional life with these, in the golf world and with these experiences.
Now, somebody had commented, I'm not sure if it was Margot or you, had commented about what you're doing at inJoy actually makes golf more accessible. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the stat behind simulated and indoor golf is that it takes up about 50% of all the golf time that's played. So what most might consider regular golf, outdoors, on a course, in the sun, in the rain, in the heat, in the cold, indoor simulated golf is about 50% of all that golf time in total. Is that a number you've heard as well?
I mean, the indoor golf world is growing rapidly. So it really was perfect timing for us to kind of go down this road as well. So yeah, there's all over the world, really, especially places in colder climates, there is a seasonal, aspect to it. But yeah, especially places that have a period of time during the year where outdoor golf isn't as appealing. The indoor thing really fills that void, and all over the place, we're seeing facilities like the one we have here in Lancaster, doing well and growing. And all winter, this winter, we were full. We took way more phone calls than we wanted to, telling people that we don't have, that we don't have space. And, it turned out at the peak season, in the dead of winter, to play here on the weekends, you needed a good week to 10 days in advance to book your session. So there's definitely a lot of time being spent in indoor golf. And I think the data is a big part of that too. You can't watch a PGA Tour broadcast. You can't watch a Major League Baseball broadcast without, as soon as a home run is hit, as soon as a drive is hit, the ball speed, the swing speed, the exit velocity, the carry distance, all of those metrics are immediately on the screen. So people's interest in, what's my ball speed? What's my swing speed? I mean, people are just so much more aware of these metrics that they want to see what theirs are, and then they want to figure out how to make them better. And for a long time, it is still sort of a new thing for people to have access to, these machines and these this technology that is expensive, and otherwise you'd have to go to, some major golf academy to have access to. And, now you can just come down and spend time on the same exact machine that, that Rory McIlroy is using to dial his game in. So
that's awesome.
Created access for people to get better, and just to be curious as to, where the game is obviously going, and being so much more data driven and analytical. Yeah.
So Andrew, do you have something to say, Jeff? Go ahead.
I always have something to say.
Well,
you know this.
Go ahead.
Yeah, hold your question, because the one that I have. So I think it's interesting. Yeah. I touched on this, the accessibility of it. So yeah, it's easy to get in. You can play in the wintertime, but accessibility, I think it's interesting where you're positioned geographically. If I'm thinking about, you're right there on New Holland Pike. So you go a little further west, you go over Route 30. If I'm thinking if it's the right exit, you would make a right into Lancaster Country Club.
Correct.
Which, if you make that right into Lancaster Country Club, you might, most people in Lancaster are just turning around because it's a high profile members only club.
Oh yeah.
Where members only can play golf. So I think it's cool that you've made golf accessible to everyone in a way that's fun, that's more technology driven. I mean, let's face it, clubs are not cheap, at least good clubs. Shoes are not cheap. You need that. You generally want to have golf related clothing because you're going to be playing in the sun and when it's warmer. So I mean, even if you do go on the less expensive side, you're probably looking $400 or $500 just to get
easy
fitted up in your first start out of things. In your center, do people need to bring their clubs? Do you have clubs?
Most people do bring their own clubs and their own gear, but we have loaners for people to use if they need them. So yeah, I mean, you can show up empty handed, or you can show up fully loaded. We try to make
so
it
like,
easy.
I wonder, does your center make, and I don't even know, I'm shooting from the hip here. Does School District of Lancaster have a current golf team, and does your center being in their backyard allow a golf team to maybe emerge someday if they don't?
I would love to think that is definitely on the table. We've done a little bit of work with the Millersville golf team. We did a little bit of work with some high school programs. We had the Lancaster Country Day program in here a couple times in the fall. I mean, on the high school scene, on the college scene, to have access to some of this stuff and be able to practice year round is a huge step forward.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
Oh, absolute game changer. And especially, if you're playing against teams and groups that don't have access to that stuff, I mean, talk about a leg up on your competition. So that is definitely one of the areas that, as I was coming up with goals and kind of long-term visions with SCORE, always, anytime we made that list, at the top of it was make our way into the high school and the college scene and have teams that train here, both in the gym and in the hitting bays. There's a lot of potential for that. And that's definitely one of the avenues that we hope to go further down as time passes here.
That's awesome, Andrew. I think the concept and the business model is awesome. I can't wait to check you guys out. Tying this back to SCORE and how you got started, you were a physical therapist, and you found SCORE. First of all, how did you find SCORE? And then, like, what were your first steps with SCORE? Did you get hooked up with a mentor? Did you take classes? What did that process look like, and how did they help?
Yeah, so I was doing my thing as a physical therapist, and I had a small network of golfers that I worked with on the side, and I would talk about that in my personal life and with my friends, and a very good friend of mine who was working at Armstrong at the time, one of her mentors in the early parts of her professional career, who she was very close with, was retiring and leaving Armstrong, and was spending some time mentoring for SCORE. And I had never heard of them, but, just sitting around with friends and, you talk about work and what's going on in your life. This friend of mine, her name is Morgan. She kept saying, like, oh, if you want to do more than that, you really should think about reaching out to this organization, SCORE. My mentor, who was really a key figure in my professional career. I know she's working with them. They have talented people. And, it's all, she told me it's all free. You have nothing to lose by reaching out to them. And, the first couple of times I was like, yeah, that sounds good. But, I went to school for a long time, and I spent a lot of money to get into this career. Like a career change would be crazy at this stage of the game. And I had a young family, a growing family. But I want to make sure I include that I loved my job as a physical therapist, to get to help a lot of people, a lot of great feel-good stories. But there's also the stuff you hear about working in corporate healthcare, that there's a lot of background noise and a lot of, things that aren't very efficient and logical. And there's, some just various sources of frustration, let's call it. So, it was actually, I was probably 2-3 o'clock in the morning. I was laying in bed. I had a stressful day at work, and I was, had something big the next day, and was just kind of going through like the here we go again sort of thought process. And, Morgan's recommendation, popped into my head for the 15th time. And I went on SCORE's website, and I filled out the survey on my phone, laying in bed in the middle of the night, and filled out the profile, and got paired with a mentor. My mentor's name was Gary Watcha. He's phenomenal. So him and I got together and had breakfast, probably, within a couple of that. And that was in the early part of 2019. And, as they say, I guess the rest is history. I mean, it just, we would sit down together, and I would just, I had ideas bouncing around my head, and I didn't know how they connected, but I really thought there was something there. And I would sit down with Gary, and I would just sort of word vomit for about 45 minutes, and he would listen to me and ask me questions. And then, we'd get together 4 weeks later, and all those thoughts, he would say, this is how that sort of organizes itself and where it falls into a business plan. And this was a good idea. Here's how you could connect it to this one. And, we just kind of created a roadmap, and each meeting sort of built on the last. And I would go home with, some homework and maybe reach out to this person and ask this question. And it, it just kind of slowly built from there. And when I first met with Gary, really the golf fitness side of things was the only part of the plan. And, as we were trying to figure out, is this a real viable option? Let's put some financial, information on the table here. Like, how many clients would you need to be training in how many golfers would you need training at a time to like comfortably kind of ramp away from your salary as a PT. And I had a growing family at that time that sort of, we had a life that depended on my salary. So it was, how are we going to replace that? And, I think we could have got there, but there would have been a transition period, and it would have been, I would have had to have X amount on a caseload at a time. So, then the idea came probably 6 months into the process where, hey, Lancaster doesn't have golf simulators. I've played indoor golf with a couple of buddies elsewhere. And, so my journey had multiple twists and turns, and the idea changed a handful of times, and Score just, was right there, and they were able to hit the ground running. Cool. Every time the plan changed a little bit, it was like, all right, well, let's just reform this and, connect these dots a little differently. And there was a pretty crazy sort of evolution to, from the first meeting that I had of kind of what I thought that I was talking to Score about, and to what it became. I mean, it was a wild ride.
Yeah, that's a very typical story of many small businesses, particularly during the time when you opened your business right before the pandemic.
Well, we were ready to go right before the pandemic.
That's right.
And then we had to sort of back burner things for a year, which was frustrating. Right. But Gary stuck right with me, and especially being that we were like indoor entertainment, for a while there, we were like, uh-oh. Well, and Gary was great. He was like, let's look at all the new protocols, all the new, let's look at social distancing guidelines. Let's look at all these things and rethink the plan a little bit and see if this thing is derailed or not. And it turned out obviously that it wasn't. But anytime something came up like that, just to have someone who had been there and done it and had the experience to talk me off the ledge a couple of times, really, it was, I can't even put into words how valuable it was. I can say with 100% certainty that inJoy would not exist if it wasn't for Score.
Well, first of all, Andrew, we appreciate you thinking about us in the middle of the night, because not a lot of people think about Score in the middle of the night. Sometimes I do, but not a lot of people do. And the pandemic crushed a lot of small businesses on many different levels. It crushed a lot of businesses, but particularly small businesses. And one of the things they had to successfully do was pivot and rethink their whole business strategy. We had one of our candle maker businesses turned into making hand sanitizer. They said, what can we do to pivot and make money during this time? And you did exactly that. You said, hey, the physical therapy is not going to be enough. What about golf simulators? And look where it's brought you. So congratulations on making the adjustments. And I love how Gary, and this is something many Score mentors do, there's someone who can be there and they're not emotionally involved in the whole idea and the process. They're just there to walk alongside you. And Gary's a terrific mentor.
He's the best.
That's awesome.
Yep.
We could have Gary on too.
Well, maybe we can have Gary back.
That's right.
Back down the road later on another show. This has been a lot of fun having you both on. Yeah. I'm going to go out on a limb here, Ben.
Go for it.
And Andrew, I'm going to put a challenge out there to you.
Okay.
So when I brought up how cool would it be, like, I don't know if Lancaster schools have a golf team or not, but how cool would it be if they did or could, and they could practice and get some time with you. So Ben, I think we'll make a donation.
Yeah.
Andrew, if you chase that down, we'll help fund some of that time in your center.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Because I know some, yeah, I mean, that would be, I think for any program, that would be the very first, thing anybody in the school district of Lancaster would ask is, well, where are we going to go golf? Where could we possibly practice? What's the expense for the youth? You know, what's that mean? So we'll throw money at that. And if you want to chase it down,
Cool.
you just reach out to us after the fact. How's that sound, Ben?
That sounds fantastic.
It's a great idea.
I appreciate you guys very much. Thank you. That's great.
Do you get Andrew? Do you get like corporate parties there? Do people reach out to you and like rent the center or rent a couple of bays or whatever?
The way that all of our bays kind of back up into a big space is great for that. We do lots of birthday parties. We do lots of corporate events, networking events,
That's
team
cool.
building, team building outings, stuff like that. Being that we're so close to the cork factory, I get to piggyback off a decent amount of wedding parties, and people will do like their Friday night welcome dinner. Will finish up with us, or the group of groomsmen will rent out the place and they'll get ready for the wedding over here. So the space is really conducive to big group kind of events like that, and we love doing the corporate stuff, the networking groups, team building, stuff like that. It works really, really well. And one of my favorite parts about those types of events is, especially like, say a corporate event. Without fail, there's a handful of non-golfers that tag along with the rest of the crew. Great. And, I can stand there and watch people who have never played golf in their life, jump in there and be on a scramble team or take a couple of shots and really have a good time. We really like to think that inJoy has a very broad appeal from, the most serious dialed in player to someone who's never picked up a club. Anybody on that spectrum can have a good time here.
That's really cool. I love it. I love it. So we've talked all about, what you're doing now. Is there anything coming for inJoy Golf or you personally down the road in 2023? Anything big?
Growth. We think it's been really, really great. We had a great first year. I mean, we opened the week before Thanksgiving to kind of hit the right seasons in our first year in 2021. And kind of our main event is we have a winter league, a 12-week winter league. And,
that's cool.
So that started about 5-6 weeks after we opened last year. And we played with 62 players in the league last year. Our last week, our winter league just finished up. And this year we played with 108 players in our league. So cool. we saw some growth. We've been busy. People really enjoy the atmosphere and have a good time. So growth is the goal. I think we want to grow within the area that we currently occupy. We want to get another simulator or two up and running here in the space that we already have. And we're in the process of looking where inJoy Golf number 2 is going to be.
That's cool. Great.
It's been a very, very exciting, last 3-4 years, and my wife and I, our growing family, we feel very, very fortunate to be in the position that we've been, and how much support that the community has given us. Probably my other favorite thing about inJoy is, a community is kind of growing in here, especially like within our leagues and tournaments, and the same people will have their birthday party here, and if they're having a family event, they'll do it here. And we have some things in the work this summer to put on some outdoor tournaments as well, to keep getting our league players together. And one of our main focuses looking forward into the future is to continue to grow a golf community here in Lancaster, and it's a great place for it. Lancaster is a golf saturated area. We have lots of golfers. It's a busy downtown area. People are very supportive of the small business thing. I can't tell you how many other small business owners have stopped in simply to wish us well or try to figure out how to collaborate, and really grabbing onto and trying to kind of nurture and grow that sense of community is at the top of our list of goals. Looking forward as we grow in our space and hopefully grow the number of centers that are out there as well.
And I would imagine, Andrew, you do gift cards. Is that right?
Oh yeah. Yep, we sure do.
So on the topic of growth. Father's Day is around the corner. So is Mother's
Sure
Day.
is.
Moms like to golf too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
we did
if
have a
you're,
women's league this year. We love women's golf. We have an instructor as well who's we have a female instructor. Her name's Sharon. She's great. Great at teaching beginners, great at teaching, low handicap, highly skilled players. She's has all kinds of packages. Gift cards are also valid for lessons. They're valid for the fitness work. So there's a lot going on over here. Pretty much if you're a golfer and you're looking to improve your game in any way, there's a little bit of something for you here.
So cool. That's so cool. So how about same question with Score? Anything that Score Lancaster is doing in 2023 that you'd like to share?
Well, as we continue to attract more businesses and organizations, we're always looking for more mentors. So if anyone who's listening in is interested in being a mentor, you can also go on the website and say, I'm interested in being a mentor, and we'll reach out and talk with you. The other thing we're always looking for and want to expand this year is our partnerships with organizations in the community, because small businesses need all kinds of support, whether it's mentoring, it might be loans, it might be personnel help in hiring. And so right now we partner with a lot of the Chamber of Commerce's, we partner with many of the banks, Community First Fund, we partner with Assets. And so we're really hoping to expand our partnerships this year, because I think collectively we are supporting the same people, and we can just continue to do a better job if we're working together.
Absolutely.
So that'd be something you can expect to see more of. And if either of you would like to be a mentor, we'd love to have you.
Very good. I'll check it out for sure.
That's interesting. I always thought of Score as the retired executive part. I really didn't know that you had volunteers that were actually business owners, active business owners, and not just retirees. So that's cool. That's cool.
And you are the older partner here, so you're the first to
go. I'm sure. Yeah. Jeff, you can give him some time off to do it.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Well, very cool. Thank you so much for being on the show. We're kind of out of time. Maybe we could just do one of our connection cocktail questions. Our connection cocktail, if you've watched before, is just a question or two to get to know our guests a little bit better and things they like to do in Lancaster. So maybe we'll just shrink it down to one question, and maybe it's simply the favorite thing each of you like to do in Lancaster. Margot, you can go first.
Well, first of all, I want the cocktail first. Where's that?
We don't provide that.
My favorite cocktail is a good glass of Sauvignon Blanc. But aside from that, my favorite thing in Lancaster it's got to be a tie. It's either going to the Central Market, and I also love the Longs Park Art Show. Never miss it.
That's awesome. Yeah, Longs Park is kind of a gem down there. They have a lot of cool events and whatnot. And of course the concert series is great too.
It's great too. Yeah.
So Andrew, same question.
I feel like my question's a little bit of almost a cop-out answer. My favorite thing I would have to say is to play golf in Lancaster County. Could surprise absolutely nobody.
You can use Connection Cocktail for shameless plugs.
Great place. I play all over the place. I get to play inside. So if I'm not going to count that, because that would be too easy of an answer, we love to stay on the cocktail theme. My wife and I love being downtown. We love exploring the food scene. Lancaster has such an awesome food scene. We love going out, trying new things, and taking advantage of all the great restaurants we have here downtown.
That's cool. Yeah, there are many. This has been great. Thank you so much for being on. Kind of a unique show. Like I said, normally we have one guest, but this is kind of a really cool relationship that's formed between, of course, all kinds of Lancaster businesses, but of course, Andrew and Score. And Margot, thanks for sharing everything that Score offers. It's, like I said, Jeff and I used Score and found it very valuable with what we were going through. And I'm kind of floored by the 900 businesses a year that you introduce or that introduce themselves to Score and you provide programs for at no cost. So that's amazing work you all do there.
We have a gem of a community for small businesses. It's a hot place to open up. So we'd love to see you. And wow, thanks for having both of us on, and join us at the luncheon on April 20th and hear the other stories.
I'm going to put
Yeah,
it on
thank
my
you guys
calendar.
very much. This was a lot of fun. It was enjoyable.
Yep.
I know my 4-year-old's watching. Hi, Scarlett.
And just to point out, you'll both have a digital version of this. Of course, it resides on our Facebook page, YouTube page, LinkedIn, that sort of thing. But you'll both have a digital download to use as you see fit. So I think there was a
Great.
pretty cool testimonial from Andrew about the services he received from Score in there. So
Great.
They are the best.
And we've got the, before we depart, we've got the prize-o-lator to fire up. So we'll see who
that's right.
wins. We had a handful of comments.
yeah,
I got your back, Ben. It's all right. You're slacking over there.
we got some cool gifts, some less snore, more cuddle swag. Nathan,
Nathan,
there we go.
Nathan Rada, congratulations. So Nathan, if you're still listening, still watching, you get to come into the store, pick up your choice of one of those True Flask drinkware pieces or the on-the-go bundle, that little pillow and blankie, which I love my blankies for my nappies. If you've been tuning in as of late, I'll be taking a nappy after the show here today.
Yeah, there you
My
go.
rehab
You're-
process.
Good luck with the knee, man.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's going to turn the corner.
That's a long recovery, but you're through the worst of it.
That's
So-
right. That's right. Well, hey, thank you so much for being on the show. Appreciate it. And we'll see everybody else next week on Lancaster Connects.
Thanks for having us.